What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know what time it is. You've seen them before. Time to get into it. Harry Souttar Analysis. Let's go. So as you've probably seen already, Harry Souttar has been announced as a Leicester City player at 1 o'clock this morning, UK time, for Leicester City. So we're going to be going into the analysis. Again, it's just some pictures from Leicester City. Again, what he's going to be about, how he's going to be, and what we're going to look forward to our third transfer this window. So a little bit about him. Again, he's a ball-playing centre-back, which we've needed. He's got that aerial presence. He's a good player, a good person on the ball. He's going to be a good person, hopefully, for Wout Faster partner in terms of that centre-back role. And with him, you're going to get the ability to pass into the final third, which I'll show you in a little bit in terms of the details on the statistics, and play wide. So he's really good. Again, he's not the quickest of players. That is a little bit of concern I'll get onto later on. But it seems like once he gets momentum and he knows what he's doing, he can see the game before it happens, which is kind of what we need from a centre-back. But let's look at some statistics. So what do we know about him? So we know he's 24 years old and he's a tall guy. 1 meter 98 and very tall, built. He did a great World Cup, which kind of inflated his price a little bit, but nevertheless, he is an upgrade over Amate. You look at it again, he's right-footed, so he'll play on this side of the centre-back. Obviously, he's come up quite a lot recently for about 15 million, I think, over 5 years, the contract he signed. Again, defender, centre-back, tall, physical presence. That's something we've lacked at the back, and I'll show you some of the stats around that now. So, as we're seeing from the scouting report, as something I mentioned above, again, there's a few bits, but standard shooting, again, it's not something we're going to excel at, even though there is a little bit of not XG up there. What I want to have a look at is in terms of passing long, this is where he excels at. So 40, again, 97th percentile in terms of passing completion, passing to the final third, 85, passing to the penalty area and crosses. Again, that's very strong. And we've seen this from Wout Faster. I think Brendan Rodgers, and just in general, it'd be good to have a player that passes out from the back. Then we go into kind of some of the pass types. Again, the dead ball passes. So again, he does some work from free kicks and things and throw-ins. Now he takes a lot of throw-ins, which is good. I want to see if he's got the same throw-in as Fuchs. You know, Fuchs used to do with a big long throw-ins. I'm hoping for something similar to that, but I can't lie. It's not something that I know about. So this is where we want to see him defensively. So where is he good in the defensive? So in terms of the defensive thirds, the tackles in the middle third, 92nd percentile. So he plays quite high up, and I'll show you that via the heat map. He plays quite high and he reads the game well. So defensively, tackles wide, that's where he kind of excels. Now you're looking again, clearances, 99th percentile. This is something that we've struggled with. We know all season long, and Brendan Rodgers' teams and in general struggle with passing out the back. So clearing balls from set pieces. And this is a great example of where we've got somebody with that physical presence that could line up really, really well. And the fact that he's so tall and he can read the game really well makes him great for set pieces and especially corners, which of recent we haven't struggled with, but in the past we definitely have. Just something else to show you as well. So again, in terms of touches, again, he's very comfortable with the ball at his feet. We can see successful dribbles, again, 92nd percentile, which is really great to see. So again, he is a player that will come out from the back. He reminds me very much, if you've not mentioned it already, of Harry Maguire, but it seems like Harry Maguire and then some with Souttar. So I'm really looking forward to how he plays in terms of Leicester City's team. Again, this is with players that are similar to him in terms of their rating, but I really want to see how he does with the back four of when Ricardo comes back, Christensen, and then Wout Faster as well. So just looking at his SofaScore, again, what he's good at, I just mentioned before, aerial duels, his positioning is in a good place, and ball control is obviously really good. Now I'm just going to show you again how he's been so far for Stoke. So looking at, again, the match stats, again, he's only started 4 games. He's just coming back from an ACL. It's something to look out for because, again, we're having players that come through with ACL injuries time and time again. So, and they've got to be nursed into the squad. And unfortunately, we need pretty much centre-back to hit the ground running. Again, minutes per game, 90. And in terms of that, again, attacking threats not too great in terms of touches and passing, which is great. This is what I want to really show on them. He plays in a back 3 or a back 4, quite high up the pitch. So again, we're going to be playing. Brendan Rodgers likes to play quite a high line and shorten the pitch, and I think Souttar works because this position here would allow him again to spread the ball wide, go to certain people, but again, it's not very low. It's a relatively high position, in my opinion, for a centre-back, and considering we're moving forward, then he will be able to spray passes going forward. And I'm hoping as well on this side of the pitch for set pieces, he can convert as well. So just to show you, in his last match for Stoke, again, he's set up in like a 3-4-1-2. Again, they've switched formations quite a bit. With Souttar at the back, and they've played in the back three, and he's been that main person. Yes, he picked up a yellow in this, but what I want to show you is, again, his heat map for this game. Again, if we're looking at how he's played, again, he's playing getting quite high up, in my opinion, considering they're playing a back three, which can drop quite deep into the center of back three. He's taking up positions on the left-hand side and towards the middle. So it allows them to come forward in the game. Even though they lost it, it still shows that, again, around this position, he plays quite high up, which is good to see in terms of the heat map. It's hard to find somebody that it's similar to in terms of statistics and analytics. I've looked for a long time, but this is the closest I've got. I've compared Harry Souttar to Harry Maguire. Both, again, hold very similar prospects. Again, the height-wise, very similar. Foot-wise, what they do, they're ball-playing centre-backs. They work with each other. So they are very similar. They both play centre-back positions. And I think it's kind of the market that we're looking at, and this is the kind of profile that we need. I mean, it will be interesting to see how he lines up with Walt Fast alongside him, obviously with the height difference. I mean, Walt Fast isn't a small guy, but obviously compared to 6'6" Harry Souttar, he'll look smaller as well. So they both work in a similar way. What we're used to with Harry Maguire seems like a very similar thing to Souttar. Again, there's not much statistics anywhere else that would really help, but I just thought it was worth noting. So it has been hard to find some statistics around him, and especially with comparing them. Again, with a lot of the websites that I use, they tend to compare the people in the top league, and with Harry Souttar coming from Stoke, there isn't as much information on him. But what we're going to do is going to look at how he would fit in at Leicester City. What formation would he play? How would he work? We'll look at that now. So as you mentioned from our last video, it's pretty much the same formation. I mentioned having the 4-3-3, if you remember the Tete video, where we looked at, again, Tete playing on the right-hand side. Now we're going to concentrate more at the back. So I put Christensen in. This could either be James Justin or Timothy Castagna as well. Walt Fast, Souttar and Corrado Pereira. Now, Brendan Rodgers likes a four at the back. We all know that now. And his stubbornness to play that is obvious. But what he would do is he'd set up alongside Fast, and they'd take it in turns. So I think Fast will be the main guy that stays, and then Souttar will then come forward and then pass balls into Barnes or into Tielemans. Again, maybe that's maybe with the future of Tielemans being uncertain, he probably is going to leave. We're going to basically, it allows us to push forward and him to spring the balls over to Tete, to Barnes, to Iheanacho, so we could have another player. So whoever this is, it's like a Dewsbury Hall to close down and allow Tete to go in front. So this could allow Souttar to spring these traps over to potentially even Barnes with his long passing. This will allow Ricardo to go up here and play this position. And we know that Brendan Rodgers likes to play the inverted fullbacks here. So I think this way, Souttar can actually work good in a back four, but I think in a back three, it could look slightly different as well. So here's the back three that I've got. I've got Souttar in the middle, Fast on the left, and Daniel Amate on the right. Now going forward, I think we'll probably get somebody to replace Daniel Amate. Souttar is that if we play a back three. But again, we're probably going forward, if Amate's contract's not renewed or we keep him as a squad player, we'll have somebody else in this position. In my opinion, Daniel Amate does work in a back three. And he gets exposed, kind of like Connor Cody, when he goes to a back two. But because of his defensive issues at times, it allows Souttar to come over and cover that position. If you remember the game against when we won, I think very similar formation, with like a 3-5-4-1. We play against Man City, we won 5-2. We hit them on the counter. And this could be, so again, I could see him working in a back three. This will allow Fast to move up a little bit and then to have a defensive line. And the reason why Souttar's slightly ahead is, again, he can be springing balls over to the likes of Ricardo, to the likes of Christensen. So even a Tielemans then pass it on, and then I've gone for a front two of Dakary and Iheanacho. Now, you can either play this way when we are looking at, again, with Samori as the holding, or you can then switch it to like a 4-2-3-1 and then have Maddison in the 10 as well. We all know, again, Maddison might not be here in the summer. I know Tielemans won't be as well. So we're looking at this position going, right, okay, you can play that ball in. The long balls, able to spread the ball really nicely. And I'm thinking this is how we work in a back three. So there he is, our new centre-back. What do you guys think of him? I'm going to give you my thoughts just now. So a quick little summary before we go. I think overall, it's an upgrade on Daniel Amate, which is good. It looks like he's played in a back three and a back four, so he's comfortable in both, which is good. We know Brendan Rodgers likes a back four. But he's definitely an upgrade on Daniel Amate. We love Amate, but I still think his back three is his best position, and because he can get exposed quite a lot in the back four. With what he is, I'm hoping, I've not seen it for as much much previously. I'm hoping he's good from set pieces. You've got that person, that physical presence in the box that we've missed, and we really have. We're not a most physical team, so it's interesting him coming into the back line. Hopefully, from an opposition perspective, we can convert some of the goals from his head, because I think he is a player going forward. Will he be part of the squad? Yes. Do I think he is the man that we are going to rely on? We'll come to see in the summer. I think they will bring in another centre-back. I think that's clear and obvious with Sionchu being out of contract. Johnny Evans, we're not sure. He's constantly injured. Daniel Amate as well being out of contract. They'll probably bring in the centre-back, and they'll probably look for a Wesley Fofana-esque kind of player. Very quick, easy to read the game, and then Souttar will drop to the bench. But for what we need now, I think Souttar works. My only kind of concerns would be he's just coming back from an ACL. Now, we've just lost so many people to ACL injuries. It's embarrassing. Sammy Braybrook most recently. I'm absolutely distraught about that one. Absolutely annoyed because there was no need. Anyway, that's another thing for another time. But I'm annoyed about Braybrook because ACL shouldn't happen when he's training. Shouldn't happen. Then my only concern is potentially getting off that line, that initial first yard. He's a little bit slow. He does make up for it in terms of the physicality and also his reading of the game, and his positioning is really good. So that's good. I think he had a good World Cup as well. But we've seen it with other players before. They can have a great World Cup, and then when it comes to game in, game out, do they live up to it? They're inflated the price, just like we did with Maguire. I mean, the 15th time that I'm mentioning it in this video. He had a good World Cup. People remember that, paid extra for him. Now people aren't going to pay 50 million for Maguire, even in this inflated market. So I think he is that position that I think we could use. One thing as well that I've got, he's not rated in the Prem. And in terms of Stoke fans were saying he's good enough for the Premiership, and that's their bankable asset, Stoke was, so when they sold him over. However, in terms of what we need, I don't know if that's going to be the best person for him, this position for him, because we just don't know. The Premier League will find out a lot of players. I'm glad he's from the Championship because there is a similar style of football, but going forward, potentially could be a little bit of a banana skin as well. And we need somebody to come in and hit the ground running in a back four. We know Brendan likes the back four, as we mentioned before, and we know that in general, very few players from the Championship do hit the ground running, and he will obviously replace Daniel Amate as the upgrade. I'm really happy with him, and I'm happy we've got this deal over the line, but I think he needs a little bit of bedding in time. And also bearing in mind he's just coming back in a couple of games. He had a little bit of a minor hip injury, and he had an ACL before that. And because of our ACL issues, I would want to take our time with it. The problem is we haven't got time. We've got Aston Villa, we've got Tottenham, we've got Man United, we've got Arsenal, and we've got to hold on for dear life with a shaky backline as is. So there is no more excuses, Brendan. No more excuses. You've got the players that you wanted. Tete's a great player going forward. Souttar is the player that you wanted at the back. Christensen's on the left-hand side. You filled all them three positions that you wanted. Now we have to go and fulfill that. I wish him all the best. Signed a 5-year contract with us for about $3 million a year in terms of FFP. So it was a good deal. And if it goes south, you can understand, okay, cool, that there's the case. That, again, it wasn't completely well wasted. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you all in the next video. So goodbye.